Good evening, I am Melissa Surprise, and I am a member of Hudson River Housing's Community Building and Engagement Committee. I'd like to thank you for joining us for an evening with Hudson River Housing. Our silent auction is now live, offering you, our supporters, an opportunity to bid on some exciting items that showcase the wonderful businesses that call the Hudson Valley their home. You can find over 20 items and experiences up for bid at 32 auctions/Hudson River Housing. Some of our incredible items up for grabs includes the Beacon Experience, which is valued at just shy of $500. In this collection, you'll find items from up and down Main Street, including Sally Andler, Hudson Beach Glass, the Glazed Over Donuts, the Roundhouse in Beacon, as well as the Snooki Shop. We also have beautiful gourmet gift baskets from Adams Fair Farms, Hudson Valley Gold Breast, and Lily Ray in the Hamlet. For our music lovers, we have a $100 gift card courtesy of our friends over at Dark Side Records. Food and drink fans, how about dinner for 4 at Hudson and Packard? This veteran-owned restaurant opened its doors this past October after making its start at the Poughkeepsie Underwear Factory. Other food and drink experiences include one of the hottest new breweries in the Hudson Valley, Zeus Brewing. And our friends at Grand Cru and Cheese Market up in Rhinebeck has also provided us with another $100 gift card towards their experience. Ladies, we have one of the most gorgeous handbags from Unshattered, as well as great spa items from Dermalaise Center and the Blushery. There are so many more amazing items up for bid, so just be sure to jump over to 32 auctions/Hudson River Housing to get bidding. The auction ends May 22nd at midnight. Once again, I'd like to thank all the businesses that supported this event. It truly takes a village to support one another. And thank you to all those who joined us for your continued support for Hudson River Housing and Vet Zero.
Good evening and welcome to An Evening with Hudson River Housing. I'm Boris from 101.5 WPDH. We're so happy you could join us tonight. We're doing this virtually because we want to make sure everybody's safe and we're all being safe as well. And we just wanted to take this opportunity to say thanks for tuning in. And this is an important fundraiser for Hudson River Housing. And with me tonight is Krista Hines. She's the Executive Director of Hudson River Housing. Good evening.
Good evening, Boris.
It's good to see you. Tell us a little bit about what this event supports and what Hudson River Housing is all about.
Absolutely. It's great to see you and great to be here. I just want to say good evening to everyone and thank you so much for joining us for another evening with Hudson River Housing. I know there's lots of supporters and friends and donors out there that are tuning in tonight, and I'm sure there's some new folks that haven't joined us in the past, so I just want to really extend a warm welcome to everyone. And again, thank you so much for doing this, Boris. So Hudson River Housing is actually about to celebrate 40 years of service to the community. For the past 4 decades, we have been focusing on improving lives and communities. That has been our mission, and obviously will continue to be our mission for many decades to come. And we do that through housing with compassion and development with vision. We see a world where no one has to experience the devastating consequences of homelessness. We really believe that everyone deserves to live in safe, affordable housing in inclusive communities that are thriving. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of people out there that continue to struggle with access to housing and opportunities. So this event supports all of the programs that Hudson River Housing provides. We provide a full continuum of services, including crisis response and emergency shelters, to transitional housing. We have a host of permanent affordable apartments, as well as home ownership opportunities for people. And we provide essentially what we call wraparound services that really support people that are living in our programs to be successful, to reach a level of self-sufficiency that they're looking for. So again, this event is an annual fundraiser. It supports all of our programs and services. It's also a great opportunity for us to thank our many sponsors and donors and supporters. We are so fortunate to have tremendous partners, and there is no way we could do this work without that.
So a year ago at this event was the very beginning of the pandemic, and it's been a wild ride.
Yes.
for the last year, as you know. Explain to us a little bit about what the past year has been like at Hudson River Housing.
Yeah, no, it has been absolutely crazy. I can't believe it's actually only been a year. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that. But I have to say there's a lot of silver linings that I can see. That, again, we've had a lot of challenges. We've met with a lot of people that are definitely struggling out there. But one thing that really stands out is how the community has responded, and also how the community is so resilient and have found ways to get through this pandemic, mostly with relying on each other. I can literally barely remember a day last year that I didn't get a call or an email or a text from someone saying, how can I help? What can I do? Do you need us to make sandwiches, deliver food, make phone calls? Do you need money? It was really amazing, the outpouring of support that we received. I also want to really acknowledge our staff. I've been with Hudson River Housing for quite a long time, and I've always been really enamored by our staff and just in awe of their commitment. But this past year, honestly, has completely surpassed any expectations and beliefs in what we are capable of doing. They literally are the definition of essential workers. They completely rose up to the challenge, and in addition to keeping all of our services moving smoothly, we actually did a lot of additional services. We relocated our entire emergency shelter within like a week of the pandemic first hitting. Not only did we move the shelter, we expanded the capacity, nearly doubling the capacity so that we can serve so many more folks. And we also opened a brand new housing facility in April of last year, which was like at the height of the pandemic. We opened 78 new units of housing in the city of Poughkeepsie, which really was remarkable. So our staff, just absolutely incredible, literally saved lives last year.
I believe we actually have a piece about some of the impact that Hudson River Housing has had over the past year. So we're going to take a look at that.
Oh, great.
What a year it has been. As we confronted the unprecedented situation of the COVID-19 pandemic, our staff, volunteers, and donors rose to the challenge to keep our essential services operating without pause. We are proud to say that we also continue to innovate, build, and strengthen our services. Here's a look at our impact over the past year. Within 1 week of COVID-19 restrictions being announced in New York State, we relocated our Webster House emergency housing program to the Dutchess County pods, providing more space to socially distance and the ability to provide 24/7 services to keep the most vulnerable in our community safe. Over the course of the year, we saw an increase in the number of people using our emergency overnight housing on a daily basis to well over 100 people each day. Our staff of essential workers continue to show up every day to care for those experiencing homelessness. We rely on our community of Adopt-A-Night volunteer groups to provide a nourishing meal to these individuals every evening, and coordinated over 89 individuals and groups to provide almost 33,000 meals for individuals experiencing homelessness. In April, we opened one of the largest developments in our history at Fallkill Commons on Rose and safely moved residents into 78 brand new affordable homes. These apartments include on-site staffing and supportive services, and many residents who are focusing on achieving mental wellness pay $0 in rent thanks to support from the Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative. But that isn't all. In addition to Fallkill Commons on Rose, together with our partners, we added an additional 80 units of affordable housing in communities across Dutchess County last year and secured over $1 million in new funding for future affordable housing development. In the spring of 2020, we launched our Emergency Response Fund distributing nearly $50,000 in private donations to help Dutchess County families with rent and utility bills. As more resources became available to support struggling tenants and landlords, we compiled an additional over $1.4 million to assist households and created a cross-departmental emergency response relief team to get help to those most in need. How do you build community when you can't come together in community? Our outreach and engagement teams found new ways to connect this past year. Phone banking, virtual forums, and online platforms became new staples of our work. We helped share vital information with households across the county, supported over 60 small businesses with financial resources and mentorship, provided employment and enrichment opportunities for 77 teens and adults, and engaged over 100 volunteers. Our team of care managers and property managers worked with over 700 tenants in transitional and permanent housing, supporting their housing stability and connecting them to resources. Along the way, we distributed face masks, groceries, laptops for school, and checked in on residents to help them stay safe and provide them needed support and resources. Our Vet Zero Heroes Driving Heroes ride program provided nearly 450 free rides for veterans to safely get to medical appointments, grocery stores, and more. This new service has become a staple in the veteran community and is relied upon by veterans and their service providers to safely and reliably give them the care they need and deserve. As families found themselves at home and out of school for an extended period of time, we took more than 350 calls and visits from teens in crisis, providing counseling and emergency shelter at our River Haven Youth Shelter. We added Wi-Fi access to sites and distributed laptops to students. Our staff remained at the ready 24/7 to help young people in need. And our Homeownership Center team transitioned quickly to virtual and teleservices, providing nearly 200 families with financial and homeownership education services. Even with the restrictions of the pandemic, we still supported 36 families in becoming brand new homeowners. As we undertake all of our work, we are keeping a focus on equity at the forefront of everything we do. We are committed to creating conditions that eliminate bias, build opportunity, and enable everyone to reach their full potential. We added a new manager of equity and inclusion, and our staff leadership team on race, equity, diversity, and inclusion worked across the agency to support our staff and reach out into the community. As our costs and demand for services grew throughout the year, we are tremendously grateful for the support from volunteers, individual donors, private and corporate foundations that helped us remain financially stable. All of you made all of this possible, and we thank you.
That's really great stuff to see. I got to tell you, it's so important, I think, that people realize the impact that Hudson River Housing has on so many people. Krista, tell us a little bit about what influences the work that you do at Hudson River Housing.
Absolutely. So obviously we're a housing organization, and for the past 40 years we've been aimed at addressing homelessness and creating pathways out of homelessness through housing. And again, back to what I said earlier about the pandemic, I think one of the silver linings of all of this is how the work that Hudson River Housing does has really been at the forefront in the minds of maybe folks that haven't realized how important housing is and home is. As we know, this past year we've all been spending a lot of time in our homes, and many of us are fortunate to live in safe, warm places where we feel comfortable, and obviously it's been challenging in some regards with homeschooling and working from home and all of that. But when you don't have a home, obviously the challenges are so much greater. So that obviously continues to influence our work. In the next few years, we're really going to be focusing on developing more affordable housing options, also working with communities to look at policies and ways that we can really preserve the housing that is out in our communities and create more opportunities for people to live in safe, healthy, inclusive communities and have housing that they can afford.
Now I know you're always innovating and developing new ways to rise to these challenges that the community has. Tell us a little bit about some of these innovations.
Definitely. So I think a lot of people have probably heard there's money available through rent relief. So the federal government and the county and the city of Poughkeepsie has been awarded rent relief funds for the community. So Hudson River Housing will be administering a significant amount of money for the community that's in need. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there that have experienced financial hardship because of the pandemic and are having difficulty paying their rent. So we're really fortunate to be able to step up and help the community in that regard. We're also, helping people access the vaccine. If they're interested, we have some educational programs around that. And we're really investing in our staff and in our programs and services so that we can be responsive to the needs that we're seeing. We're definitely seeing the lasting effects of this pandemic have had a real impact on folks' mental state. It's been a very stressful time, and when people are already in a crisis or dealing with poverty or other issues, the pandemic has only exacerbated those. So we want to be as responsive as we can and have staff that are trained and able to help people with those mental health challenges.
The amount of things that you guys do at Hudson River Housing, it is astonishing. It really is. Let's take a look at some of the new things that are happening with Hudson River Housing.
The coming years promise to bring many new innovations, built upon our strong foundation of housing with compassion and development with vision. This year we completed a new 3-year strategic plan, which affirms our commitment to 4 core goals.
Hello, this is Nicole Johannesson, Director of Resident Services. Last year, we relocated our emergency shelter to better serve those in need during the pandemic. Now we are looking towards innovative new strategies to continue to improve how we offer shelter and services to those facing homelessness. Over the next year, we will work with Dutchess County and partners to reimagine how emergency overnight shelter services can be delivered, with the goal of establishing a permanent new home for a 24-hour shelter that offers robust services on site and coordinates efforts to quickly move people to greater housing stability.
I'm Robin Dillio, Housing Navigator Manager here at Hudson River Housing. Our Housing Resource Center, opened just before the pandemic in 2019, continues to be an invaluable hub of support for those in a housing crisis. This year, our emergency rent relief team will disperse funds to tenants and landlords in need of resources and support. In just the past month, over 800 applications for assistance have been received, pointing to not only the impact of the pandemic, but also the underlying housing insecurity faced by so many. We will expand our street outreach team efforts this year, working collaboratively with local police, mental health agencies, businesses, and community partners to connect those who are chronically homeless.
We knew long before this pandemic what has become so abundantly clear in the past year. The need for permanent, affordable housing is critical. We will build hundreds of units over the coming years. Projects like Crannell Square and Poughkeepsie are quickly rising, and additional projects are moving forward in communities around the county. Municipal officials and resident advocates know that an adequate supply of quality affordable housing is crucial to a sustainable future for all of our communities. A future that provides our young people with opportunities to thrive, that cares for an aging population, and that supports our small businesses and essential workforce. Across the Hudson Valley, we are stewarding efforts that champion the cause of affordable housing. Because if you want to change lives, You have to start where people live.
My name is Michael Teamer, and I'm the Resident Services Manager at Fallkill Commons on Rose Street. Even as we build new housing, we know that so many rely on our foundational programs, and we strive constantly to assess and improve. We are the most passionate advocates for our tenants and residents, all that are a part of the Hudson River Housing community. And our team will stop at nothing to get the housing and services that they need and deserve. Even as many programs have shut down during the pandemic, our services have increased. We know that we are home for so many, and we take that responsibility very seriously.
Hi, my name is Marsha Eldridge, and I'm the Resident Services Manager for Hudson River Lodging. For resident services, we're always looking for new opportunities to work in partnership with residents to help them achieve their goals. In the coming year, we will see additional housing units added at Hillcrest House, a new care coordinator focused on supporting life skills development, a new stewardship program that engages residents as active advocates for safe and thriving communities, and development of new on-site programs including childcare and community rooms with Wi-Fi connectivity. Thank you.
This year, we're also launching new programs to support our veterans and expanding others. Heroes Driving Heroes, our free ride program, will add new vehicles to its fleet. And Heroes Making Heroes launches this spring a new employment program for veterans who have experienced homelessness. In addition to providing a supportive work environment, Heroes Making Heroes will also address food insecurity in our community by donating at least 4,000 meals this year, making it a true full circle program. All this while the programs that many know so well, Hillcrest House, Gannett House, Liberty Station, River Haven, all continue unabated.
My name is John Carlo Laverius. I am the Senior Manager of Equity and Inclusion here at Hudson River Housing. I would just like to say we couldn't have come through this past year without a renewed sense of purpose around confronting issues of social justice. We know that our very organization exists in part because of the systemic inequalities that have created these disparities in access to housing. Over the coming years, we will use our voice to stand in solidarity with our community, acknowledging long-standing racial disparities and the need for communities to come together. Our advocacy work will build from the knowledge that communities, when guided by a rich diversity of experience and wisdom, are strong and resilient.
Join us. You are a critical partner in all of our work. In case you're wondering, this is just a small group of our staff, which has grown to nearly 200 strong, and we couldn't accomplish any of this without every single one of them. Hudson River Housing is an organization that is prepared to repair the issues that are before us, and we have the vision of where we can go together. But we can't do it without your help. We must prioritize housing as critical for maintaining healthy communities. We need you to raise your voice in support of affordable homes for all. We can rebuild our communities to be stronger and more equitable, and this is our opportunity to do so.
Well, one issue that's really important to me is the plight of our local veterans, and we can thank our next guest for that. Tommy Zerhelen is joining us. Tommy is not just a local celebrity, he's also a national celebrity. He did that famous walk across America in 2019 to raise awareness for veterans and veteran suicide. He's now currently a member of the Hudson River Housing Board of Directors, and he's joining us tonight. Tommy, it's great to have you here.
Good to see you, my friend.
Tell us a little about what Vet Zero does.
You know, when I came back from the walk, I started Vet Zero because there's just so much to do in our community here in the Hudson Valley. And one of the great things we did when I got back from the walk was to start the Vet Zero Ride program. Gives free rides to veterans to their vital appointments like the doctor, pharmacy, even grocery appointments. And I'm happy to say that so far we've given over 500 free rides to veterans so far. It's really easy. All the vet has to do is to call 1-833-VET-0, and we hook them up with a free ride a week in advance, and it's worked really well. I'm also happy to say that we've got a new program here at VET-0 called VET-0 Heroes Making Heroes. Now, Boris, you know me, and you know there's two things I love to do in this world. One is help veterans, and two is eat sandwiches.
You and me both.
So I thought to myself, my friends, how could I do both at the same time? And sure enough, we found a way here at Hudson River Housing with the VET-0 Heroes Making Heroes program. Literally, it's heroes making hero-style sandwiches. It's a pay-it-forward system, the John Bon Jovi model.
Okay.
So everybody who wants a sandwich gets a sandwich. So some people are going to pay a little bit more, like you or me. We can afford it. Some people might not be able to afford it, but they're going to get a sandwich anyway. So all the sandwiches are named after famous veterans, and we're going to be appearing this summer at your local farmers market, festivals, everywhere in the Hudson Valley, and we're also going to be doing catering. So if you got a business that could use some amazing sandwiches from some amazing veterans, please give us a call. We'd love to support your event.
Sounds like a plan. Now, Tommy, I know this famous walk that you did back in 2019.
Oh, that's why I'm sitting down, Boris. You know,
it was so inspirational for so many people, and you've actually written a book about it.
It's right here. Look at that.
Look at that product placement.
Look at that.
It's called The Low Road.
Yeah.
And it details not just your walk, but also the many veterans and people that you met along the way.
Yeah, it turns out, you know, when I walked across America in the summer of 2019, the story wasn't about me at all. It was about the amazing veterans that I met along the way, and the stories that they told me. So when you read The Low Road, it's about, you know, one person stumbling across the country trying to make a difference. But what it's really about is veterans who have been forgotten across America and what we can do to support them. So, you know, I've told you this before, Boris, but I didn't know which was harder, walking across the country or writing about it, because
it's a daunting task.
It is, you know,
to pull it down.
And reliving all those memories, you know. People ask me, how did you walk 22 miles a day? Again, 22, the number to recognize that number of veteran suicides every day in America. But it turns out, Boris, the physical part turned out to be the easy part. It was the mental part, just getting up every day. And I really felt the struggles and the challenges that a homeless veteran in America feels today. You know, there's over 40,000 homeless vets in America every night. And we can all do a better job to take care of our heroes.
Speaking of, I know that sales of the book are helping out Hudson River Housing. How's that happening?
Yeah, so all proceeds from the book go directly to the VET-0 programs we were talking about, like the VET-0 Ride and Liberty Station. And we're closing in on 1,000 copies sold, which is really great. And again, you know, when you purchase The Low Road, you're not buying a book. You're supporting these really vital programs that are really making a difference in our community. I know, because I work with these folks every day. They're doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, Tom, you're literally walking the walk to help out our
Not right now. I'm sitting the sit right now.
But you've earned it. You've earned it. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Boris, thanks so much for having me here.
Joining us now is Ara Mori, who supports Hudson River Housing. Hi, Ara. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So tell us, in what ways do you support Hudson River Housing?
Well, in the every month we support them with a dinner for the 100 people that are over at the shelters at the pods over by the jail.
Okay.
And we prepare a meal for the 100 people every month, the fourth Sunday of every month. And we always bring food. We bring tons and tons of pasta for the nights that they don't have a volunteer group to come over and feed them. And then plus Liberty Station is what our biggest goal is, to feed the homeless veterans.
Yeah. So why is it important to you to help out at Liberty Station?
They're our heroes. You know, they're our buddies, and I personally find it appalling that something like this has to happen, that I feel that the government should be taking care of them rather than the American people. But we should still invest in our veterans. But I just feel that they deserve a whole lot more than because they did fight for us. They are fighting for our freedoms, and we should take care of them.
So, Ara, if there are other people that are out there and they'd also like to help support our veterans and do the work that you're doing, how do they get involved?
Well, it's very easy. You just call Hudson River Housing, and you can talk to Krista Hines, who's the executive director, and she'll put you in the right direction of where the need is the most. And as far as the veterans are concerned, if anybody has and wants to have a collection of food, of non-perishable foods, I'll be more than happy to go pick it up from them and take it up to Liberty Station when we take our stuff up, and you'll get a wonderful thank you note from Krista and the team over there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they say it takes a village.
Absolutely takes a village, and if you want to sign up to prepare a meal for the homeless people over at the pods once a month or even 2 or 3 times a year, they're more than willing to take you on, and just we realize this for a lot of people, but at least you're going to be able to feed a whole lot more people than, and it would be a big help for them. The pandemic has stopped a lot of groups from being able to do the feedings once a month, so it would help a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's so great to hear about all the work that you're doing, helping out our veterans, Liberty Station, and Hudson River Housing. Ara, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Joining us right now, we have a resident at Liberty Station. Michael is here. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Boris. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you arrived at Liberty Station.
Well, I had split up from my wife, and I had no place to live, and I was going through some mental issues, and Liberty Station took me in, and they provided me some place to stay and helped me get back on my feet, through various different programs, and helped me to get where I am today. I finally have a job and a place to stay, and I'm doing a lot better now, mentally and physically. So,
without Liberty Station, where do you think you'd be right now?
I have no idea. I'm in my car, living in my car.
So what has it meant to you to have that support from the folks with Hudson River Housing and Liberty Station and the community, really?
It's tremendous. It made a big difference on my attitude and how I feel.
Yeah. Now, where do you see your future from here? Now that you've kind of had that kind of help up from Liberty Station, where do we go from here?
Well, it's a good question. I feel like I'm going to be able to, support myself, get a better job eventually, but I'm happy where I'm at now. And then just move forward. I'm just not in that rut anymore.
Yeah. And just that leg up and that help and the return of dignity, I think, is a really important thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the success that you've had, Michael.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you being here tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Joining us right now, we've got another resident at Liberty Station. Joseph is here. Hi, Joseph. How are you?
How you doing?
It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you. You too.
Tell us a little bit about what living at Liberty Station means to you.
Well, originally I'm from Albany, New York. I was promised a job in Poughkeepsie. We came down to Poughkeepsie, put us up in a room and board, whatever, for a little while. Then he closed it,
Oh.
and he just left us. That's how I got to Poughkeepsie. I don't know nobody. I know nothing about Poughkeepsie. I stayed in those crazy shelters and stuff. Slept where where I had to sleep for a while. And somebody told me about Liberty Station at Hudson River Housing. And I went over and I talked to them. They really basically changed my life from there. They gave me some place to stay, that I could afford. Mm-hmm. I had a little bit of money for my benefits, but how much apartments today? You're not gonna get nothing. So actually, they gave me something that I could afford, some stability, a roof over my head, things that's important, food, they gave us clothes. basically they changed my life, you know, and I was able to grow from it.
So Joseph, now that you're at Liberty Station, you have your own space, which is an important thing for somebody, right? Explain how that's so important.
Everybody needs their own space where you can get away from, well, I think, where you can get away from them. Just think, get your head clear, you know. And for me, Liberty Station is going to help me get my whole space. There I can save money, I can do what I got to do. It's a stepping stone. It's something I need where my dream is to get my own bathroom. It's funny, but everybody share a bathroom, and that's my dream, have my own bathroom.
Have your own bathroom.
And here, I know I'll be able to get it.
Yeah. Well, we wish you the best of luck, Joseph. And I'm so glad to hear that your life, as you say, has been changed. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the great work that people at Hudson River Housing are doing and Liberty Station, and it's stories like these that mean so much when we hear about them. So, Joseph, thanks so much, and we wish you all the best of luck.
And you too, thank you.
Thank you very much. Hudson River Housing is truly doing so much, and it's probably not that easy to do alone. So you do depend a lot on community support, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. We are so fortunate to have hundreds and hundreds of volunteers and donors and supporters that we really could not do our work without them. Our shelter, especially, I just want to acknowledge the tremendous support that we get for our emergency shelter. We've been running our shelter for 40 plus years, and we have been 100% reliant on donations of meals. So we have a hot meal delivered to the shelter every night, 365 days a year, by donors and volunteers, which is really an incredible achievement. And without that support, honestly, it would make this shelter operations very difficult to run. And that's just one example. I could really go on and on to explain the support that we get from the community is tremendous.
We actually talked to some of the supporters of Hudson River Housing. We're going to hear a little bit why it's so important to them to support Hudson River Housing.
Hi, my name is Allison Bergman. I am a Girl Scout leader in Heart of the Hudson Girl Scout Council in the Hudson Valley, and we have been supporting Vet Zero and Hudson River Housing for the last couple of years. We completely support the work they do with vulnerable veterans in crisis, and any way we can help, we certainly will. Thank you for the wonderful work you're doing supporting our veteran community, and we look forward to the day when you are no longer needed. Thank you again for all the work that you do.
Soy Felipe Santos. El día de hoy quiero agradecer a Hudson River Housing por todo el apoyo que brinda a nuestra comunidad de Poughkeepsie, y es por ello que nosotros aquí en Revolución Radio y su servidor apoyamos firmemente a esta organización que apoya, empodera y ayuda a la comunidad de Poughkeepsie.
Hi, I'm Lindsey Burns, and this is my husband Sean. We're the tournament directors for Rooftime Volleyball, and this summer will mark the 29th annual Rooftime Tournament to support Hudson River Housing. In terms of the question, why do we support Hudson River Housing? That's an easy one to answer.
When Lindsey and I took over the coordination of Rooftime 8 years ago, at that time we would have to admit we really didn't know too much about Hudson River Housing. We knew they did some great things for the community, but we didn't really understand a lot of the details. And in those 8 years, not only have we learned so much more about what Hudson River Housing does, but we've been continually impressed with how they do their work. This is an organization that really understands that the issues that they're tackling are complex and need to be addressed from multiple angles. The broad array of programs that Hudson River Housing supports really shows their commitment and passion to building our community. And on top of that, we've just had such great experiences with everyone that we've met and everyone that we've interacted with at Hudson River Housing.
We could not be happier to organize Rooftime tournaments. While we've had a volleyball tournament for 29 years, we're branching out this year. In addition to volleyball, we'll have our first ever Rooftime tennis tournament. We look forward to working with Hudson River Housing for many years to come.
Hi, I'm Tim McQueen from Poughkeepsie, New York. I want to talk to you about why I believe in Hudson River Housing. As a local community advocate and businessman, I've witnessed firsthand the dedication, the resources, and initiatives that they put together to fight homelessness, to provide for financial education, to also help youth become employed by local businesses right on Main Street, as well as the new Empowering Developers of Color program, which I'll be one of the first participants in. And this is monumental because it's showing the goal isn't just to give us a seat at the table, but to help us be stakeholders and create our own tables. And this is very important. This is why I believe you should believe too. Thanks.
Hello everyone, I'm Ritesh.
Hi, I'm Nikita.
We are from Maha Grill. We are very grateful that we had the opportunity, especially during this pandemic, to support our local community through Hudson River Housing.
One of the best.
One of the best organizations we've ever worked with, and we really admire their dedication and the support that they extend in terms of providing shelter, overnight shelter, food, a youth program, jobs.
Housing for the families who are in need.
So there's a lot. We definitely encourage everyone and anyone
to work
if you
with
can
Hudson
support,
Housing.
Go for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Hello, I'm Philomena Finelli from Impact PR and Communications, and I support Hudson River Housing because I believe everyone is entitled to fair and affordable housing, to safe housing, whether you are an individual, a family, young, elderly, or a veteran. Secure, stable housing is the foundation that most people need in order to build a healthy life and a great community around them.
Well, Krista, it's a lot. It's a lot. We're just about to wrap things up for the evening, but before we do, we're going to give away some virtual door prizes. We don't have an actual door, we have a virtual door because we're doing it virtually tonight. So these prizes are examples of the creative ways that the Hudson River Housing is supporting our community. Tell us a little bit about what some of these prizes are before we announce the winners later, and you guys will get an email if you've won.
Absolutely, I'm really excited to have these offerings. So first we have an HRH Made gift basket. HRH Made is a Hudson River Housing-led social enterprise that empowers people to achieve housing and economic stability through making and selling products in a supportive arts environment. So we're really excited to have this gift basket as our first door prize. And next we have a Taste of Puff box. So Puff is our Poughkeepsie underwear factory, and we have this Taste of Puff box contains a sampling of items from some of our Poughkeepsie Open Kitchen members. Through the Poughkeepsie Open Kitchen, we support community members as they develop successful food businesses, celebrate their culinary traditions, and share their talents with the Hudson Valley community. And lastly, we have a Vet Zero Heroes gift package that includes a signed copy of The Low Road, Tommy's or Helen's book, a gift certificate to use with Heroes Making Heroes, and a Vet Zero Hero shirt.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And again, congratulations to the winners. You guys will be notified in the event chat that's going on. Plus, you'll also receive an email. Congratulations. So, Krista, we've seen a lot tonight, and some people out there might be inspired, maybe to lend their support to Hudson River Housing. How would they go about doing that?
That would be great. We would really appreciate that. So please reach out to our website, www.hudsonriverhousing.org. We have a page there, how you can help. That's a great way to learn about the organization and contact any of the staff members. There's our phone number, our contact information is there. People can feel free to contact me directly. Any of our staff, our whole directory is on there. So please reach out, and as you learn more about Hudson River Housing, please share the message with your friends and family and people in need. If you know of somebody that's looking for housing or other supports, please refer them to Hudson River Housing.
And we can't end the night without thanking our sponsors for this evening as well.
Yes.
The list will be scrolling there on the screen, and we encourage you to support those businesses and institutions that are supporting Hudson River Housing.
Yes.
So Krista, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Great.
for joining us, everyone, tonight. Be safe,
Yes.
and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.